All right, here we go. Brush bars, brush bars, brush bars, brush bars. What are brush bars? Well, do you know what brush bars are? Brush bars, I reckon it's even a pox name, brush bars. Brush bars are those, look, I was going to say big ugly steel things you bolt on. But look, on some trucks, they look cool, they look tough, no worries. You're going bush, mate, you need to have your brush bars. Or maybe you don't. I'm going to tell you some of the pros and cons about brush bars to help you decide if you want brush bars. Careful if you watch till the end of this video, because at the end of it I might save you a few grand, you might not even want a bull bar. But let's have a look, right? So brush bars are the bars that normally connect on here and they go down the side of the vehicle to supposedly, what are they there for? Maybe to make tracks, to push through tracks and bust down the trees in the bush. After that, called brush bars. That's what you'd be, or is it for when you brush past things? So make the car about 200mm wider overall so that you can brush past things instead of just drive between them. Because that's kind of like what happens, guys. In a lot of cases, it varies from vehicle to vehicle, but where the bar bolts on and it comes out around the outside of the panel work, paint work, whatever the case may be, and it widens up the vehicle. So that's one thing that it does, which is a negative. So we'll try and do a negative and a positive, and a negative, we'll try and do that. We'll see how the balance goes. See these tyres? Not bad at all. Positive. White writing. Should have never done it, put it on the outside. Negative. Looks terrible, the white writing on the outside. Don't put the white writing on the outside if you happen to get these tyres. Oh, not bad though. If you're mainly on road and a bit off road, good balance. The Grand Trek AT3Gs, in no way have they sponsored or anything. I just thought I'd put it out there. Back on the brush bars, because that's what you're looking at, right? You're looking at the brush bar. You're not looking at the brush bars because there's no brush bars there. No brush bars. Brush bars normally go from here.
Bada bing, bada boom.
So yeah, the brush bars, they normally go, sorry, I just had a bit of a phone call interrupt, but the brush bar normally goes from here, along the side and around here, down there, or in front of this here, whatever, right? So first thing is, you've made the vehicle wider. So you might, if you go off-road and you actually do tracks and that, you're going to press a little bit harder on things because you're a bit wider. And when I say a bit, well, if the tube, for example, let's just estimate this tube here is about, what, 70 or 80 mil, isn't it? Right, so let's just go with a spacing, about 100 mil. You know, 100 mil, 100 each side, that's 200 mil. So you just made the vehicle 200 mil wider. That's quite a bit wider, which can make it harder to fit a number of different places when you're parking in shopping centre car parks, which is, they're tight enough already, and you're doing that a lot of the time. When you've got to swing in, that's the part that's going to stick out. It might protect you from getting damage a little bit there in the car park, but it may also hit the vehicle next to you and, it might cost you because you've got to pay for those repairs. You caused it. So you're also carrying extra weight, okay? So the weight of the steel going around there, you're also carrying that. You've also paid for it. You're going to pay, I don't know how many, few $100s more, quite a few $100s more, depending what brand and whatever. So we've got weight. So I was meant to go positive, negative, wasn't I? So what was the first negative? You're wider. Okay, it's made you wider. What's the positive of being wider? You're going to look big and tough. When people look in their rearview mirror, they're going to go, oh, look at that scary Prado coming down the road. Get out of his way. There you go. There's a positive. So everyone's going to get out of your way. Now back to another negative. You're carrying extra weight at the front. Extra weight at the front. That's a negative. You don't want that. So what's a positive to brush bars? Can anyone help me out? I'll be looking in the comments. Don't know what the other positive is. So let's just go with the negatives, guys. Look, you're paying out money to put steel on the car that goes from there to there. It makes the car wider and it makes the car heavier. So 3 negatives. What's the positive? There is one positive. I reckon it kind of looks good on some cars. Doesn't look good on when you've got a nice Prado. Prado's a nice car, right? Kind of like, that's nice, and you put a brush bar on it, and it kind of like, it's almost like it doesn't suit it, mate. Like, that's what I think. Each to their own. I understand everyone's got their opinion. Each to their own. Do what you want. I'm just trying to get people thinking here. Just trying to get people thinking. Put your thinking caps on. Don't just go, oh, I need a bull bar, or I need brush bars, and go out there and get everything, and then go, what did I do that for? We've got more negatives. Okay? So, this is a 120, right? It's got a bull bar on it. Let's just have a look at the 150 and I've got something else for you. Okay, I'm sorry, but I've got a couple more negatives. We're going to show you this car. And you might notice this vehicle hasn't even got a bull bar. So, we might have to get to answering that one first, because that's kind of prioritised the brush bars, right? We've got a bit of bad news coming with the brush bars, but first, we'll give you a little bit of bad bull bar news. There's pros and cons of bull bars, each to their own, right? But we drive a lot of vehicles, specialising in Prados for years now. Every time we drive a Prado, we notice which ones drive good, bad, and all that. And to be quite honest, it's quite consistent. All the best driving and handling Prados, and that is whether it's the weight you're carrying, the handling over the front, over speed humps and bumps, and cornering and stuff like that. When we're on a road test, you go around a corner. All the ones that just corner and handle better, all the ones that don't have all this weight hanging off the front or the back of them, particularly the front, you know, bull bars and winches and brush bars and all this sort of thing. So after years of driving our own vehicles with bull bars and knowing with a 120 with a sovereign bar, the alloy, it did handle and drive a bit better. It's kind of like, yeah, you know what, I think I'll just not do that. And of course there's positives, you know, it's good to have the FPD, that's the front protection device, or bull bar, because it can protect you in some ways, but if you're going to hit something big enough, you're going to have an insurance claim anyway. Sometimes it's going to, it depends where you are. This isn't a bull bar video, right? Each to their own, but this one, my choice, no bull bar, right? No bull bar. Now, why is there why are we talking about brush bars here now? What are the other negatives, right? Now, you can, some people get excited when they, can you see me in the reflection yet? Anyway, in a minute, right? When the bull bar's there and the brush bar's here, so here we got that steel, right? And the brush bar's going to go, you know, however it is around there, it's going to make the vehicle, as we said, at least about 100 mil wider on each side. So it's a bit of a negative. And what happens when the bar, and we need a car with a brush bar here, but we don't know, when it gets pushed on the outside, because, you know, you're squeezing past a tree, you slide sideways in some mud, and instead of being in the ruts of every other vehicle, because that's where the tyre's probably going to stop anyway, you might just go that bit further and your brush bar gets hit, and what they do, they're not really that strong, so they actually just bend a bit and they flex in, if you know what I mean. They flex in and the bar hits, look at that, not super strong, but that brush bar gets pushed into the paintwork and it can damage the paintwork. That's kind of one of the negatives, besides looking a bit ugly, you know, and the things at the clamps at the end and nuts and bolts. It looks like an old school fence bolted to a car. It's bloody terrible, mate. Why would you put brush bars? Anyway, if you've got one of those, you know, big tough landcruiser type truck, 79 series, yeah, you know, old style, you know, leaf spring suspension, you might as well have some brush bars. I get it, right? So that's cool. But on the Prado, nah, nice car, turn it into a nuts and bolts truck. I don't think so, but I'm just trying to get people thinking. Some people think they need the full kit and they get the car and they just go out and throw the whole shop at it. So this is for the people that are listening that want to know my opinion. Now, the other problem is if we look further toward the back a little bit, let's just sort of focus over this way a little bit. Now, where the brush bar would normally come down, right, it would normally come down around here and join onto the side step or get bolted underneath, whatever the case may be, right? There's a clearance normally between the tube and the paintwork, right? So, you know, somewhere like here, you might get your fingers in between there, right? You know, there'd be maybe, I don't know what the specification is. I don't fit them, 10 mil, 20 mil. Let's say about 20 mil. But what happens when you're in deep ruts in the mud and stuff like that, right? And these are the ruts here at the side here. So your brush bar's kind of here and the mud's here. And you're in the ruts. This is the mud pushing on the outside because it's soft and sloppy and you're pushing into the side of the mud. It kind of splits and some goes on the inside, and then the hard packed hard but soft type mud, and you know what mud's got in it, it's got rocks and grit and whatever. What it does, it goes on the inside of the brush bar, between the brush bar and the paintwork, right? And then what it does, so it kind of scratches the paintwork, but also can dent. It dents the vehicle, it pushes, it packs in quite hard, right? So you got your brush bar, you got your mud here, and it's kind of gone like that, and it's kind of split, and it's just jamming in there between the bar and the paintwork here gets pushed and dented in. So if you're going to have brush bars, don't go off-roading and play in mud and ruts and stuff like that, because you could damage your paintwork, right? So hopefully I've been pretty clear, and hopefully I've been, I don't want to convince you to get brush bars or not. I just want you to get you thinking and tell you about some experiences I've seen and my understanding. I would never put brush bars, probably on any four-wheel drive, Let's go for another positive. We're towards the end now, guys. Positive is it might hold the bull bar and stop it shaking around as much. I forgot, there's a positive. Anyway, guys, I hope you found that to be a little bit informative, a bit of chit chat, and get you thinking about brush bars and bull bars. I don't care what you put on your car. This is what I put on my cars. This is why. This is my recommendation. It's a bada boom, bada bing. If you didn't think of that and you found it interesting and you got educated, please give us the thumbs up so that we know we're doing the right thing. And guys, subscribe, turn the bell on. Heaps more awesome information coming your way. Why miss out? Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.